All right.
Yeah.
Ready to dive into today's news? It's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, always is these days, isn't it?
We're talking MarketWatch,
Yeah.
CNBC, even Raging Bull today.
Wow, so a little
Yeah.
bit of everything.
A little bit of everything for everybody. So let's start with MarketWatch. They had a story about, inheritance.
Oh, yeah.
This woman inherits $1 million home
Wow.
from a neighbor.
Nice neighbor.
Right. But now she's thinking, like, should I share this with the sons?
Oh.
But the sons weren't really close to their mother.
Yeah.
What would you do? I don't know.
It's tough, isn't it? It's I think a lot of people would feel
Yeah.
torn in that situation.
Yes.
I mean,
Legally it's hers, but
Right.
yeah.
Morally. And then we have another one from MarketWatch that's also kind of a family thing.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's worried that their elderly parents are being taken advantage of.
Oh,
Financially.
yeah. That's so common, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know. Sometimes it can even be family members. So just being really aware,
Yeah.
watching out for any unusual activity in their bank accounts,
Right.
sudden changes in their will or, their spending habits, just things that seem a little off.
That's scary. It does happen. I know someone whose mother was being taken advantage of, and it was really sad. It's hard to stop. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And then MarketWatch has a couple of lighter ones too, like
Oh.
wedding gifts for stepchildren.
Oh, yeah. That's always a tricky one.
I know, right? What's the etiquette there?
Yeah.
And then also rent fairness when one partner's buying a house.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that could get complicated.
Yeah. And then we get to the stuff that's a little scarier, this bond market thing.
Right.
That MarketWatch is reporting. That's happened only twice in the last 40 years.
Right.
And it's got investors like nervous. The 10-year Treasury yield is surging, even though the Fed has been cutting interest rates.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, generally. You know what it suggests to me is that there's a lack of confidence in the Fed's ability to actually control inflation.
So what should the average person do?
Well, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would definitely say if you're heavily invested in stocks right now,
Yeah.
might not be a bad time to diversify a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Look into other investments.
Oh, okay.
Maybe bonds or gold.
Okay. And while we're talking about unexpected events, MarketWatch also has a piece about travel insurance, especially in light of all these California wildfires.
Right.
Do these cancel for any reason? Policies make sense? I don't know.
Well, they can offer more flexibility, but
Yeah.
you do pay a premium for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to cancel a trip because of something unexpected?
Oh, totally. Hurricane derailed a Caribbean vacation once. And thankfully, I did have insurance.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Saved me a lot of money. All right, let's move on to the tech world. So CNBC is reporting that TikTok creators are getting ready for a potential U.S. ban,
Oh, wow.
telling their fans to follow them on other platforms.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big deal, not just for TikTokers. This raises all sorts of questions about free speech and, data security and how much the government should be involved in regulating social media.
Yeah, and will
Yeah.
something else just pop up if TikTok goes away?
That's a good question. I mean, there's always something new, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And while we're talking tech giants,
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg has been criticizing Apple, saying they're not innovating and just making up random rules.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic Zuckerberg.
Right. It's been going on for a while, this back and forth.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think, Zuckerberg's really going after Apple's App Store policies,
Right.
which, he claims are limiting competition
Yeah.
and kind of hurting developers.
And CNBC and Seeking Alpha both reported on Apple's board, recommending a vote against getting rid of diversity programs.
Yeah, I read about that. It's interesting.
It's an interesting one because, you've got some shareholders who are saying these programs are, unnecessary
Yeah.
or discriminatory.
Yeah.
And then you have others who are saying, these are crucial to make workplaces more fair and inclusive.
Right. Okay, let's move to politics now. CNBC has been reporting on the California wildfires.
Of course.
The rising death toll, Governor Newsom's criticism of Trump's response.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so tragic what's happening out there.
Yeah.
And, it's not surprising to see it become politicized.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And speaking of political battles, CNBC also has a report on Trump and the GOP attacking the Inflation Reduction Act, saying if it gets repealed, it's going to cost jobs.
Yeah, I mean, this act is a big point of contention, especially its
Mm-hmm.
focus on, climate change and clean energy.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then CNBC had a piece about the potential impact of Trump's mass deportation plan on prices.
Immigration policy is always so complex.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a really sensitive issue,
Yeah.
and there's no easy answers.
No.
But the article did make the point that mass deportations could lead to labor shortages,
Right.
which would probably drive prices up in certain industries.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
So we've talked about inheritances and wildfires and tech battles and political fights,
A lot going on.
all in, less than an hour.
Yeah. It is a lot to keep up with.
I know. But we're not done yet. We have more news to discuss.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
We're back with even more news you need to know.
Yes, and some of it might hit a little closer to home this time.
Okay.
CNBC has a piece about student loan forgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently over 1 million borrowers
Yo.
got some relief in 2024.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but of course there's always a catch, right?
There usually is, especially when it comes to taxes. The article points out that while loan forgiveness can be a huge help, you might want to talk to a tax professional just to make sure you're, all squared away.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Always got to watch out for those taxes.
always.
Okay, well, CNBC also has some advice for all the parents out there.
Okay.
They're talking about emotional intelligence in children.
Oh, that's so important,
Yeah, it's not just about, good grades anymore.
right?
It's about setting them up for success in life.
Absolutely.
Being able to handle, all the challenges life throws at them.
Exactly. Knowing how to deal with stress, how to build strong relationships, how to make good decisions.
Right. It's like a superpower almost these days.
It really is, yeah.
So it's not too early to start, teaching kids about their emotions and how to manage them.
For sure.
Okay, now for a story that'll make you want to pack your bags and get creative.
Ooh, I like those.
So CNBC features this family who transformed an abandoned train car into an Airbnb. I know, right? And they're raking it in like up to $110,000 a year.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great example of, thinking outside the box and turning a unique idea into a successful business.
I love those stories.
Yeah, they're very inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break from the serious stuff and check out the weekend box office results, courtesy of Seeking Alpha.
All right, what's hot this weekend?
Well, Den of Thieves 2, Cantera is at the top.
Action sequel figures.
Yeah, those always do well.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Better Man didn't do so well.
Ah, the musical biopic, huh?
Yeah, they're hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah. What about you? Seen anything good lately?
I actually did catch Den of Thieves 2. It was pretty good. Lots of action.
Cool.
Lots of twists.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, back to CNBC for some political news.
All right.
Special counsel Jack Smith, who was overseeing some of the legal battles involving Trump, has stepped down.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty big development.
It is. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this affects things moving forward.
Yeah, it seems like the legal drama surrounding Trump just never ends.
It doesn't, does it?
Okay, before we get to our final segment, let's quickly touch on some international news from investing.com.
Okay.
It looks like Biden's calling for an immediate ceasefire in a conversation with Netanyahu.
Hmm.
And an Iranian businessman who was arrested in Italy is heading back home.
Oh, yeah. These are definitely some big developments on the international scene.
Yeah, it's a reminder that, even events that seem far away can have an impact on us here at home.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see what the Motley Fool UK is talking about. Looks like they've got a whole bunch of articles about navigating the financial markets.
Yeah, they're really good at breaking that stuff down for the average investor.
Yeah, they've got tips on finding undervalued shares, maximizing your pension savings, aiming for a reliable dividend yield.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That was a good one. They even asked ChatGPT, the AI chatbot, to pick the best growth stock in the S&P 500.
Oh, really? I'm curious, what did it choose?
Well, an AI company, of course.
Figures.
It's pretty fascinating to see how AI is being used in investing these days.
Yeah, it's changing the game in so many ways.
It is, yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground again in this segment.
We have, but there's still more to come.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with our final roundup. Okay, we're back. Ready for the final sprint.
Always. What's catching your eye?
Well, investing.com has a piece about BlackRock, the investment giant. They got a new deadline from a bank regulator. Something about their bank stakes.
Oh, it sounds complicated.
Yeah, high finance stuff.
Yeah.
And then, sadly, more on the California wildfires.
Right.
Investing.com has updates on, Edison International dealing with power outages.
Right.
And whole neighborhoods are, threatened by the Palisades fire.
Oh, that's awful.
It's just so sad to see all the destruction. And then back to international news. Investing.com says Biden is really pushing for a ceasefire, talking to Netanyahu. And that Iranian businessman who got arrested in Italy,
Yeah.
he's going home.
Okay.
Okay, let's switch gears back to, Money Matters.
Right.
The Motley Fool UK, they've been busy. Articles on spotting cheap shares, avoiding pension pitfalls.
They're on a roll.
They really are.
Yeah.
Oh, and they even asked ChatGPT, that AI chatbot, to pick a growth stock.
I love that they did that.
Oh.
What did it pick?
An AI company.
Figures. But it's so interesting to see AI, enter this world of investing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot. Personal finance, global conflicts, tech, even AI picking stocks.
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming keeping up with it all.
It really can. But that's why we do this, right?
Exactly. To give you that quick snapshot, help you stay informed. So, with everything we've talked about today, what are you most curious about? What questions do you have?
Yeah, what are you going to dig into next?
Share your thoughts with us on social media. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.